What up, guys? Welcome to Words and Wonder, and thank you for coming to my page. I seen all you guys' comments about my last video and many questions, and some asked me to post some stuff. Well, I'm just going to review some stuff like before I get to there and what we're about to watch next. So the Islamic Revolution was kind of like a religious government, and the Iranians never pictured for it to be that bad, which they've been under 45 freaking years under Shia regime law, right? Now, if you were to minus the religion government and go back to original government, like a political government, like how United States is, Ukraine is, or even some of Israel, a couple of the other places, right? Now, I'm going to show you a documentary about Prince Reza Pahlavi and how was his views. And excuse me, my daughter put those stickers there. They're not my stickers. I'm going to remove them today. My daughter put it, but anywho, yeah, we're going to take a look at how was Prince Reza Pahlavi's views towards things. How did he feel for the nations? In fact, when I seen this documentary, it made me quite surprised too. How was his visions towards stuff? He stated something about Jews. He stated something about the Palestinians. He stated something about Israel. He stated something about the Arabs. He stated something about America. And I also posted in my video like what the White Revelation was about, which was under his time. So, all right, if you were to minus religion, there were still freaking problems in the Iranian world that even now I say today that Khamenei, he may die, whatever's meant to happen to him, I don't know, but like that doesn't mean the Iranians can have a perfect ending. In the end, they have to do what they did before all these years, go protest, strike, whatever they did with the government, and find out with the new regime and like what that new regime is in their eyes. There was a political version, like how America is, how Ukraine is, and then there's another version, which is with the religious law. So let's take a look, guys. I guarantee it's going to teach you something about Iran. Let's take a deep look at who was there at the time. Take a look.
Again, the free world is troubled by trouble in Iran. Regarding with anxiety the rioting and plots said to be aimed at overthrowing Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, a ruler who has long been regarded as one of the West's best friends in the Middle East. Iran is a country of recurring earthquakes, and in 1960 suffered from one of the most violent in the nation's modern history. It brought death and destruction to 200 communities scattered over a wide area, and temporarily made untillable hundreds of thousands of agricultural acres, farmlands on which the country's economy greatly depends. Under the personal direction of the Shah, Iran was just recovering from this tragedy when its latest troubles erupted. Ironically, one of the causes of the new rioting was the Shah's land reform program instituted to ease the lot of the country's impoverished peasants at the expense of large landholders. A secondary contributing trouble factor was the Shah's plans for the emancipation of the nation's women. Rioting against this program was led by leaders of a strict Muslim sect opposed to women's suffrage. Tehran, Shiraz, and the holy city of Qom were the scenes of the most violent disturbances, street battling in which 20 were killed and hundreds injured. Iran's army proved loyal to its ruler and in 2 days had the situation in hand. It is one of the best trained and equipped in the Middle East, and more than once has discouraged Kremlin overt acts, though it is now thought that other foreign provocateurs were among the recent troublemakers for His Majesty.
Checking up on Iranian students.
Checking up on anybody who becomes affiliated with circles, organizations hostile to my country, which is the role of any intelligence organization.
And they are there with the knowledge and consent of the United States government?
I think it is.
The deputy director of SAVAK, a man by the name of Parvis Sabeti, is reported to have castigated the FBI for not keeping a closer watch on Iranian exiles and student groups in the United States. And according to that same report, he says the CIA is no help at all.
He said, oh yes,
He said it. He is also quoted as saying, we'd better not talk about this, but we are fully aware of the situation of Iranian students abroad, especially those working in international communist activities. So you do have SAVAK agents
Well, I hope so.
in the United States.
I hope everywhere to gather those informations.
Now, when an outfit like the International Commission of Jurists comes here and then comes out with a report saying that in spite of what you say, Your Majesty, torture continues.
How
In-
do they know? Well, they can continue saying this. But they have even accused the Great Britain of acting against the human rights.
We're talking for the moment about your country.
They are putting us in the same category.
In other words, you're saying you do what every country does.
Sure,
If
why not?
torture is necessary, you torture.
Not the torture in the old sense of torturing people, twisting their arms and doing this and that. But there are intelligent ways of questioning now.
Well, they talk about psychological and physical torture.
Physical, I don't believe.
I talked
Not anymore. Maybe in the old days, maybe.
I talked just today to a man whom I believe, who told about torture.
He was tortured?
Yes,
And you believe that he was tortured?
yes.
How many years ago?
Within, I want to be very careful, not yesterday.
Ah, well, maybe. I don't know.
The word has gone out to stop it.
To stop what?
Torture.
But a long time ago, yes.
How long ago?
Well,
Are you aware of a CIA psychological profile about you, sir?
no, I must admit that it's the first time I hear that.
Truly?
Yes? What is it?
Would you be interested in hearing what the CIA had to say?
Yes, why not?
Really?
Yes, why not?
I have your permission?
Yes, sure.
You won't send me to the SAVAK if I ask?
No, I would spare you this terrible ordeal of going through torture.
This secret study portrays the Shah as a brilliant but dangerous megalomaniac who is likely to pursue his own aims in disregard of U.S. interests.
So how could I be your man, your agent,
How do you mean?
safeguarding your interests?
Well, it says that the Shah is an uncertain ally. His dreams of glory apparently...
I know. So you would like me to be your stooge?
Do you want me to go on, or shall I forget about this, Your
Well,
Majesty?
some funny points, why not?
So he went on to quote to him from the CIA profile. His dreams of glory, it said, apparently exceed his ability to finance them. When his oil revenues run out in an estimated 2 decades, he might use his new military power to seize some neighboring oil fields.
Shall I go on, or would you prefer that I stop, sir?
Well, the question is that I have now that you mentioned, I have seen that appearing in papers, but I think it's lots of imagination in that.
A criticism frequently voiced by American business people here, particularly in the last year or two, is this, Your Majesty. Iran does not pay its bills on time. Goods are delivered, services are rendered, but they have to wait and wait for their money. Surely you don't have cash flow problems, Your Majesty.
This is very new to me.
Oh, I've heard this over and over again.
Why don't they write to me?
Well, perhaps now that you're suggesting that they write to you, they will.
Sure.
They say months and months go by.
I can't believe that.
There is no cash flow problem. Because you yourself confess that you are in deficit this year.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But this is worth looking after. And at least for once you're very useful, that through you we can reach these people and say, why don't they write to me?
You say, at least for once, you are useful. Why? I'm curious. Why are you willing to sit and answer these questions?
Because I like these kind of provocations. it gives me the opportunity of clarifying things that unfortunately are said and not always answered.
So, after taking a good look at Prince Reza Pahlavi's speech, based on what he stated, I haven't really shared a little bit how he felt for the oil yet. I feel like that can wait. So, based on his vision towards things, this all before the Islamic Revolution, there were many people who agreed and there's some people who disagreed. I told you that. It doesn't matter who you are. There's always going to be people who agree, and then there's going to be the people who disagree. And well, due to all those things, there was disagreements and protests, and they're like, blah, 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 we don't want the Shah records anymore. It's 45 years later, we don't want the Ayatollah anymore. Now, what's going to happen in this upcoming generation, we don't know. And even if Prince Reza Pahlavi does come back, knowing how generation is today and knowing how things are messy, the question is, what can he clean up and what can he do? I'll give you the best example of all. Did we ever picture, we gave all our votes, we trusted Trump over Kamala, right? Word, we did. Word as hell. What's the perfect word to call this situation? Give me one. I don't know. Word. That Trump warred Iran, and it struck Iran. Did we know Trump was going to do that? No. We lost expectation that he's ever going to war. It was sudden. Same for the Americans now. So like same now, like even if Khamenei lasts or whatever the government is after Khamenei's, whatever's meant to happen to him, there's still going to be people who agree, and then there's going to be the people who disagree, and that's going to put the Iranians, well, debating one another, just like the early times, how they live life. So people should not take X and like social media posts seriously until the stuff they are posting, did you verify there was a time period? And as I showed you, this was early Iran. Prince Reza Pahlavi Shah, and why was there a revelation, white revelation? There was chaos then too. Then away from religion world, let's look at politics. Not everybody agreed with his politics views. So we can only hope tomorrow, whatever this conflict leads to in Iran and whatever they said. And honestly, I don't know. After reviewing Iran's history and looking at it, I don't know. You guys probably don't know either. Time will tell. But in the end, they need to figure out a solution for their regime. And I don't know if it's going to be really eliminated. I can't say nothing. But in the end, they have to come up with a solution. That's the best I can say. And nobody knows what that is, because this was Iran and there was people who agree and disagree. And it's always been like that in Iran. Rather it's the Ayatollahs, the nightmare regime, or the political views away from religious laws and regular political laws. There was disagreements in that too. So we are about to find out what's meant to happen in Iran. Maybe later, maybe tomorrow, I'll post a video about the oil. Right now, you guys know that Qatar got attacked, right? Qatar got attacked by Iran. And I'm still waiting for update to share with you guys. And in fact, I had a feeling some of the Arab nations were going to get attacked in this retarded madness, but I was waiting, and now it did. I don't have enough information yet to make a video on that, but yeah, so stay tuned, guys. Thanks. Take care.